Hi guys! Today I'm going to review episode 7 of season 5 of Once Upon a Time, Nimue. I'm really annoyed because I missed a week. I said I wasn't going to miss a week and then I missed last week. I did not have time to film, but 506, which was The Bear in the Bowl, was a great episode. I absolutely loved it. Just as a very quick kind of recap, I loved the interaction between Belle and Merida. I thought that they made quite an interesting duo and I really liked seeing the scenes with them in the sort of Camelot Enchanted Forest. I've now forgotten what they called the Scottish land part of it, and so that was really fun and I thought that that worked really well, and it was nice to get some more screen time for Belle because we've not seen as much of her this season. And then in the Storybook reality, seeing the interaction between Rumple and Belle was amazing, and obviously, you know, all the Rumble fans would really enjoy that. That is my little super quick review of it. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was great. Final scene between Rumple and Emma was incredible, as it always is, because I think I could probably just sit and watch like a whole episode that was just Jennifer Morrison and Robert Carlyle, because the scenes between them this season have been phenomenal. On to 507, Nimue. Now, I think first I'm just going to discuss the obvious because we'll get that right out of the way from the word go. But I watched the promo clips, which I said this on Twitter, I don't always do. I do like to watch like the actual episode promo, so like the 20-second like trailer, if you like, for each episode. So I always do that, but in terms of the actual sneak peeks, which tend to be like 2-minute scenes, I don't always necessarily watch them before I watch the episode because, I don't know, I sometimes just think, no, just let the mystery of what's going to happen in this episode remain and don't kind of jump right in there and see chunks of the episode before it actually airs. However, I think it was probably very obvious that from the sneak peek clip on this episode, I was going to be on board, and I was, and it was like the most perfect Captain Swan moment that there has ever been. You know how I fangirled a couple of weeks ago about Broken Kingdom and said that the like horse ride, the scene in the barn and the horse ride scene and all that, and the kiss in the meadow scene were like my new favourite scenes. They've just been like, I mean, they're still incredible, but they have now been like shoved down like firmly into second place by this, because oh, the feels of this scene were just so hard to cope with, and I have watched it a lot of times now, which is probably worrying, but oh, it's just so good. I think what I really enjoyed was that it had both this kind of like playful feel to it and a very, very serious feel to it, because they had their little kind of like flirty moments, but then it was kind of all underlined by the fact that this was really serious and they were both going off to do things that were potentially completely life-threateningly dangerous. He was going to break in to the castle and she was going off with Merlin to try and get this spark to reunite Excalibur and the dagger. So they were both doing really kind of dangerous things, and it was just this nice little moment before it, and then they're exchanging I love yous, which we haven't seen yet, even though you know how much he loves her. Just actually seeing that little moment where he's telling her he loves her and she says she loves him back. The whole thing with the ring was just like my new favourite part of this story, because that's something that obviously means so much to him, and it's been this like trinket that he's felt has protected him. There's apparently more to come with that. The ring is significant, so I'm looking forward to finding out more about that. But that's been something that's been really special and important to him, and he's passing that on to her because she's more important to him than his own life. And oh, it's just so beautiful. I really enjoyed that as he was like passing the ring over to her and she's like, whoa, what's happening here? And he sort of goes, oh, calm down, Swan, I'm not proposing. And you just see this little look, like Jennifer Morrison's so good with these like little, just tiny little looks and, you know, gestures and stuff, where she kind of does this little, I'm analysing this scene. She does this sort of like, little sort of like, she looks to the side and then looks down as if sort of like, maybe in the future that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. That's how I'm choosing to interpret it anyway. So anyway, I've got that out of my system. Thanks for listening, guys. I had to talk about that. So on to the actual rest of the content of the episode, the other, you know, 40 minutes of the episode. This was an incredible episode, it really was. I feel like it moved us forward in a really strong way, and opened up a lot of really exciting possibilities for the rest of the season. Down at Arthur's castle, Hook and Snow and Charming, Regina and Robin and Zelina, much to their annoyance, are trying to figure out a way to move forward from this point and get Excalibur. They need to get access to Excalibur, and trying to figure out how to do that, Zelina comes forward and basically says, I've been trying to escape from this place for ages and I've figured out a way out of the castle, or a way out of / into the castle. If you give me my magic back, I'll show you what it is. So they strike a deal to make it like, well, actually we'll do it the other way around. You will show us where this entrance to the castle is, and then we can talk about the payment to you. So they get to the castle, they're standing outside, they're about to go in, and Regina says to Snow, would you mind standing guard and kicking her ass if she plays up, kind of thing. Snow's like, I would love to. So the rest of them all go off into the castle to try and get Excalibur and figure out what's going on. And meanwhile, Zelina and Snow are left outside. Now, I've said before, I've been really enjoying Zelina in the sort of latter parts of season 4 and this up till now in season 5. I think she's hilarious, and I think that Rebecca Mader is just insanely good. But this is me back to not being able to deal with her, and obviously that is because she is not trapped now, because, you know, very soon after everyone else has broken into the castle, Zelina pretends to be in pain, which Snow, as a mother sort of figure, obviously panics and goes to check on her, at which point Zelina knocks her out, and you're like, oh good, this is wonderful, this is just what we wanted to happen. Meanwhile, in the castle, Hook and Charming and Regina and Robin, etc. end up being caught by Arthur, and you just know it's all going to go to pot at this point, because outside Zelina's already knocked Snow out and they've now been captured in here, at which point Zelina wanders into the castle with Snow tied up. You find out that she and Arthur have basically struck a deal, that Arthur's like, I'll help you get your magic back if you help me to trap these people, basically. And yeah, it's looking like very, very dire straits for our heroes at this point. Meanwhile, we had probably what is the most important part of the episode happening out in the forest. Merlin and Emma have gone off to try and find the spark from the original Dark One, which is what they need to reunite Excalibur and the dagger. We get our flashbacks to Merlin's past to find out who it was that he loved, that he lost to the Dark One, and what he went through. We see him at the very, very start of the episode crawling through the desert at death's door. He and his travel companion, whoever this man is, spot something glinting in the sand. His friend says it's a mirage, it's not real, we're going to die here basically. But as they get closer to it, they discover that it's not, that it is in fact the Holy Grail. This other man goes out to try and drink from it. He tries to pick it up and it basically just incinerates him and turns him to dust. So Merlin's feeling a little bit apprehensive, but he figures, I'm going to die in the desert anyway if I don't give this a shot, and he is allowed to pick it up and drink from it. And this is the point where he realises that he is special and that he is now in possession of the Holy Grail. So for hundreds of years, however long it is that he's been alive, he had been in possession of the Holy Grail, and he was using his powers for good. He was using it to help people. He was living in a little village and trying to do good for people. One day he meets a woman whose village has been destroyed by an evil man. He's killed everyone, he's caused absolute chaos, and she has managed to make her way to Merlin's village and she's looking for help. One thing leads to another. Merlin and this girl whose name is Nimue fall in love, and they are very happy together and it's all very lovely. Eventually though, he has to tell her that because he has drunk from the Holy Grail and he is this magical being, he will live forever, and it's not something that he wants. He doesn't want to live forever. He wants to be able to marry her and grow old together and then both die when they're of a good ripe old age, rather than marry her right now and then watch her grow old without him and die, and then him live on for all eternity by himself. What he decides that he wants to do is find a way to change the Holy Grail into something else. He wants to turn it into a sword so that it can be something that he can use to change his own destiny. So we're now discovering that Excalibur is made from the Holy Grail. I mean, this show just gets better and better and better, and all these twists and turns and working in of all of these things just make me so happy. I really enjoyed the scene because you could see what was coming, or I could see what was coming anyway, at that moment, turning the Holy Grail into Excalibur. And then this man shows up and Nimue is desperate for revenge. She just wants to get revenge against this person for what he's done to her, which is one of these really common themes through Once Upon a Time that we always see, is something happen to someone and then them be consumed with their need for revenge. It is what happened to Regina, it is what happened to Hook, it's what's happened to a lot of people throughout the show, that they've been hurt and someone's done something bad to them and all they've wanted to do for the rest of time is get revenge. Regina wanted revenge on Snow, Hook wanted revenge on Rumpel as the Dark One. They just wanted to feel like they had got, you know, justice for what had happened to them, but it just actually turned into this big murky fight for revenge. So that's what Nimue wants, and when she sees this man, she is determined that she wants to use the power of Excalibur to end him. One thing leads to another, and Nimue ends up, as far as we can tell, dead. Merlin is completely and utterly heartbroken. He is crying his little heart out, and it's a horrible, horrible moment. What he doesn't realise though is that when he wasn't looking, Nimue drank from the Holy Grail, so she has the power of it in her. She's not actually dead, and when she kind of comes back to life, she kills the man who destroyed her village. Merlin has pleaded with her not to. He said, you cannot use this magic to kill someone. That is dark magic. It will let the darkness into you, and that will be it. It won't leave you. That is what you will become if you do this. And she can't fight it off. She can't fight the need and the thirst for revenge. She kills this man, and at that point, Nimue becomes the original Dark One. Poor little Merlin. I love Merlin. I really do. He's extremely cool. He's very, very nice to look at, and he just seems like a good guy. So Merlin's on this trek with Emma. He's basically explained that there's only two ways of walking out of this. One, that Emma is strong enough to fight off the darkness and they both leave, or Emma isn't and he dies. When they eventually reach their destination, Emma summons the original Dark One and discovers that it is Nimue. Nimue taunts her. She is sort of going right up in her face and saying, this is so wonderful that we are here together, like you're the new Dark One, I'm the original Dark One, we're here stood together, we're sisters, we're part of the same, you know, we're part of the same person now, and you know, it's like we can fight for the darkness together. And Emma, you can obviously see that she's struggling because this power that is in her is starting to try and take over. But there's just this incredible moment where, as Nimue is taunting her and basically saying, these people don't understand, they can say that they love you but they want to take this away from you, which means they don't love you and they don't understand you and they don't want you to be you, and if you let go of this then you'll go back to being nothing. And Emma just screams at her and says, I'm not nothing, I was never nothing, and it's the best moment. She then takes the spark from Nimue, which is what they need to reunite Excalibur and the dagger. And Nimue disappears, but with the warning that at any point that Emma wants to see her again, she knows where to find her because she is within her. They start to make their way back towards Camelot, back towards the castle, and Merlin completely disappears. Merlin has been transported to Arthur's castle. We end our time in Camelot for this episode with Merlin along with all of the rest of our heroes trapped by Arthur in the castle. And then the very end scene is back in Storybook where we see Dark, Swan, Emma reuniting Excalibur and the dagger. So that was the moment that you've just been waiting for and simultaneously dreading and sort of just expecting that it's going to happen at some point. And now we have no idea of what is going to happen next. Or if you're like me, you have read some spoilers and you do have an idea of what's going to happen next. Will I ever learn? So I'm going to leave it there because I've already rambled for a very, very long time, but I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you enjoyed this episode, let me know in the comments down below, and you could give this video a thumbs up. I am so beyond excited for the double episode on Sunday night. I won't see it till Monday night, but 508 and 509 are a double episode together, and it's going to be intense. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you would like to see more film, TV related videos, you can hit that subscribe button, and I really hope that you're having a great week. So thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye! The acting, as always, is just stupendous, but it's hard. It's hard going. It's hard going when you're watching your favourite character do these terrible things, and